So this is a slotted headstock. This is a solid headstock. What, you were gonna tell them about this? Well, yeah, it's cool. No, I'm cool. No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't even know what you're talking about. You come onto my show and you're talking about people about things you don't even know. Toilet. Screw that thing up. You didn't flush the toilet. Go put the lid down. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, say sorry to them. Sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. It's disgusting. All right, so this is a slotted headstock. Okay. Whoa. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this slotted headstock video. Let's do this. So this is my slotted headstock. If you've watched any of my videos, you've probably seen me playing this guitar. It's made by Todd Cambio out in Madison, Wisconsin, and it's time to restring it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take these strings off here for you. While I take these strings off, what is a slotted headstock anyway? As far as I can tell, the slotted headstock, it's carried over from the classical guitar, you know, the nylon string guitar, something like this. And that's probably just carrying over the tradition from the lute, you know, something like this. And just for reference, we're comparing the slotted headstock to this solid style or paddle headstock. And this would have been a cost-cutting measure at some point, I'm sure, because let's face it, it's a little easier to make. There's a few reasons why you'd want to use the slotted headstock over the paddle style. And the main one is this thing called break angle. So from this portion of the nut to where it meets the post. That's called break angle. So you're just going to get a lot more downward pressure from more break angle. You're going to get a little more sustain, you get more volume. I really like this tool for taking out bridge pins. I think this is for like wrapping, for making jewelry with, I guess, making little wraps, but they work just perfect for taking out your little bridge pins. Another reason though is removing weight. So when you make a slotted headstock, you're taking away a lot of mass. That's taking away weight, and also tuning machines tend to be a little bit less heavy when you have these three in a line, because most of the paddle headstocks have closed tuners. Again, that's more mass, and yeah, it's not getting nitpicky, but you know, you do a 1% change here, 1% change there. Those small differences add up to the biggest change. The last thing though, I think it's just a beautiful design. Come on, that is beautiful. You know, it's just one of those things. I see a slotted headstock and like, I just instantly want to play guitar. And I think that's a really important thing when you're trying to learn how to play guitar or continue on the path of playing guitar. You gotta want to play that thing. And for me, a slotted headstock, without question, I see that and I just you gotta give me that guitar. That's that feeling, okay? I get itchy fingers. I want to play that guitar. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. I just can't help myself. I just like messing with stuff. Whew. It does take a little bit longer to take out these strings on a slotted headstock. I will say that. As much as the slotted headstock is a charming and wonderful thing, there is one issue that gets everybody, and it'll get you. It actually just got me recently. Not this guitar, but this guitar has had it done to it. If you look in here, look right here, you can see that. See that gouge? That gouge is caused by people restringing this wrong. We've all done it. So what I'll do here is I'll give you some tips on how to avoid gouging your guitar. There's a few different ways of doing the wraps. I'll show you all of them. I'll show you the ones I know. I'll show you the one I recommend and the one most people do, and I hope it helps. The first way I'll show you is probably the easiest way. Basically, to start, you string one side to the outside of the peg box, and then as you wrap it around, when you go one time over, you're going to cross over to the inside of the peg box. And that's it. It's just like that. The only annoying part is you have this piece of string flapping around, but you could easily just do this for the rest of the strings, and you'd have yourself a strung up slotted headstock guitar. And you just snip off the excess and you are good to go. There is another way, and it's pretty slick. I thought I'd show you this. You're gonna get the string in there and put a little crook in it. I call it a little dog leg. And you take the string out and you see that little dog leg there. You're just gonna snip
the excess off. Just leave a little bit there, just like that, and that's all you need. And what's cool about this, it's exactly the same thing you just did, you just don't have that excess string thwapping you in the face the whole time. There's one more really common method. It's sometimes called the luthier's knot. Basically, it's very similar. Once you get your string tight there, you're gonna pull the excess back underneath the tension side. So you pull it underneath the tension side and back up. That just kind of cinches it down. It's a great answer to slippage and an alternative for string stretching when you do this. So if you're paying attention, you'll notice that I wrapped the inside of the peg box for all of these. But before I show you how to do the treble side, I have to mention that while this is true for this guitar, sometimes you get a guitar like this, and this is pretty thick. And so you see how on this side, this string is running into that headstock slot right there and beating up that finish. So what we did on this side is we strung these ones on the inside, but this one is strung up on the outside. And when it does that, it brings it over just a little bit so it clears that. It's not running into anything. This thing's sick. Look at that thing. But for most guitars, you shouldn't have that issue. I think it maybe classical guitars. For most catalog vintage guitars, national guitars, you shouldn't have that issue. As for this guitar, I run every string on the same side to the inside of the headstock. Basically, rule of thumb, it's really simple. Just don't run the string into the wood of the headstock. If you don't do that, it's going to be great.
If you like this video, I had another one here on how to restring a paddle headstock, your standard solid headstock. So you can go ahead and watch that one next, and thanks for being here, everybody.